TJ Davis, when in my interview with her, she said that all the officers being black, it takes race off the table. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't. I think that I understand what the chief was saying, and I think she really handled this situation in a very professional way. She moved swiftly. She ensured that those officers were removed from the department. She took all the necessary steps. But I think race is still on the table. When a culture of policing historically has treated those from different groups differently, even when the individuals are from that same.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about what is probably the most disgusting race card being pulled that I've ever seen in my life, okay? I've never seen a black person pull a race card in such a disgusting way that Eric Adams did during this meeting, this town meeting, in which a woman who happens to be white stood up and asked Mayor Adams about rent increasing, okay, about rent going up in subsidized apartments, okay, because the New York City Rent Board apparently decided to allow rents to be raised 6%. Again, this has led to Mayor Eric Adams getting some backlash. This woman is expressing her right to say, hey, I don't agree with this, and Eric Adams pulls the race card because he got a little bit of criticism. Take a look.
The fact of the matter is that it's not small landlords, it's big landlords, that they're the main ones. We're not talking about your little tiny landlord. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the Rent Guidelines Board. And you said before and after that you supported those rent increases. In Nassau, they had a 0% rent increase. Why in New York City, where the real estate is controlling you, Mr. Mayor, why are we having these horrible rent increases last year and this year?
Okay, first, if you're going to ask a question, don't point at me and don't be disrespectful to me. I'm the mayor of this city, and treat me with the respect I deserve to be treated. I'm speaking to you as an adult. Don't stand in front like you treated someone that's on the plantation that you own. Give me the respect I deserve and engage in a conversation up here in Washington Heights. Treat me with the same level of respect I treat you. So don't be pointing at me. Don't be disrespectful to me. Speak with me as an adult because I'm a grown man. I walked into this room as a grown man, and I'm going to walk out of this room as a grown man. I answered your question. Go to the...
Wow, just when I thought that this guy couldn't go any lower as a race hustler, right? He goes even lower because remember, this guy has a history of pulling the race card anytime he gets criticism, okay? Because this is the same guy that basically tried to say that the media was too white, and that's why they were criticizing him, okay? That's why he needed to diversify the journalists that they allowed to ask him questions at his press conference, because again, he's a black man, the journalists are white, and therefore there's racism going on because they're asking him tough questions. Now you have Mayor Adams getting asked a tough question by a citizen because a citizen is calling out the mayor for allegedly supporting these rent increases in the past while saying currently that, well, I ain't got nothing to do with it, right? I have nothing to do with this rent board's decision. Don't blame me, right? He gets pissed because this lady's like, yo, but you said you support this stuff in the past. And he uses that as an excuse to, again, pull what I think is the most disgusting race card that I've heard in a long time, which is to basically compare this woman to a slave owner, right? To try to say that, hey, don't point at me as if you are a plantation owner or something like that, right? Like I'm on your plantation. Again, we all know what this guy is doing here, right? I mean, he's basically trying to use accusations of racism in order to silence his critics, to silence people who are simply questioning about the fact that their rents are going up. Again, this is so disgusting. And here's the thing that really confuses me about Eric Adams. He'll say some wacky stuff like this, but then, you know, a few weeks later, he'll say something that makes total incomplete sense. Like, for example, around Juneteenth, he called out Black Lives Matter for their hypocrisy of not caring about black lives that are being lost in New York City to criminals.
Juneteenth was our celebration of emancipation and the end of slavery. That was one of the most deadliest days in our city. 10 shootings, I think 6 homicides, one 16-year-old boy shot in the head, close range. You know, we have to be honest about this. And you know what's interesting? All those anti-police folks didn't raise their voice at all. If Black Lives Matter when innocent people are shot on our streets. And I'm not going to continue to remain silent.
Yeah, so again, this is why this guy is so confusing to me, right? This is the same guy that got caught on tape basically calling white people a racial slur, right? The C word, right? Talking about, I kicked all them C words butts, okay? He was talking about his time in law enforcement, okay? He'll say something crazy like that. He'll cry racism when there's any criticism of him. He'll say the most woke nonsense, but again, every once in a while, he'll say something that actually makes some sense, right? And that is common sense. Again, like the hypocrisy of Black Lives Matter, right? Which Black Lives Matter doesn't really like too much, and he was basically taking a shot at Black Lives Matter after Black Lives Matter came out and protested against him because of the Jordan Neely situation that happened on the subway and some of the other deaths that have been happening on the subway in which law-abiding citizens are standing up and fighting back against criminals and harassment in the subway because the criminal justice system definitely won't fight back. But again, this has the woke revolutionaries upset, and they're attacking Eric Adams, calling him a sellout. Take a look.
Talk the mayor, bootlicking, selling out Eric Adams, who's a cop for life, who's a sellout and a traitor to the black tribe in this city, should be put out of the fucking city. We tired. We tired of being slaughtered by the police, by racists. Nobody did nothing to stop that, to negate it, to get him off his neck. He murdered him. And they standing over the body, smirking. Man murders a man on the train. Chokes him to death. Blonde-haired, blue-eyed white man. Chokes someone to death. Police arrest him. We don't know if he was in handcuffs or not. Police arrest him and decide within hours that they wouldn't charge him. Did they research him within those hours? Did they check to see if he was an affiliate of white supremacist groups?
No.
Did they check to see if he was posting hate speech on his social media?
No.
Did they check his true history to see what type of person he was?
No.
But they let him go. They let him go. And the mayor has no problem with that.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Jordan Neely did not deserve to die. He died at the hands of New York State government. The statements released by Governor Hochul and Mayor Eric Adams are usually Republican talking points. Those are usually the words used when the NYPD murders us on the streets. These are not the words of Democratic leaders who will be asking for your vote. People who have been in office who have sworn to protect you. I don't think they understand their recklessness and the consequences of their actions. They have just government-sanctioned white men to kill us.
Yeah, so same old song and dance there from BLM, okay? Basically issuing threats of violence towards the mayor and talking about how, black people's lives are in danger because of white supremacy and yada, 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 right? We all know what their shtick is, okay? But I'm just saying, there's an interesting race game being played here by Mayor Eric Adams because he seems to be developing enemies on both sides of the aisle, okay? Because it seems to me that black folks don't really like him, right? And he's not really doing a good job of trying to get the whites on his side, okay? This guy just might, who knows? He might alienate everybody. I don't know, okay? As a new poll found that his popularity is dipping in NYC because of the migrant crisis, especially among black residents, right? So again, for all this race hustling, okay, all this woke virtue signaling that Eric Adams tends to do, black folks don't really rock with him like that, right? According to the polls. Let's read here. New Yorkers have soured slightly on Mayor Eric Adams' job performance over the past month amid continuing migrant housing crises in the city, according to a new poll. The survey from Siena College, conducted between June 20th and June 25th, found that 46% of New York City residents hold a favorable view of Adams' performance in office, while 39% hold an unfavorable view. That compares to the 49% favorability rating he scored in a similar analysis conducted by Siena pollsters in mid-May. That poll put his unfavorability at 35%, meaning that unflattering metric has trended in the wrong direction for the mayor in the past month too. The latest poll registered a more dramatic drop in Adams' popularity among black voters statewide. Just 29% of African-American voters surveyed gave Adams the thumbs up, while 50% said they hold an unfavorable view of him. In a sharp contrast, black voters gave the moderate Democrat mayor a 59 to 16% disapproval index in the mid-May survey. Despite the popularity plunges, Adams' political advisor, Even Thines, touted the latest Siena results as a boon to the mayor. Quote, as Mayor Adams tackles unprecedented challenges while reducing crime and improving quality of life, this poll and others show consistently that New York City residents support the mayor and his policies, Thines said in a statement. Thines also poured cold water on the sharp drop-off in support from black residents. Quote, it's not a credible number considering the fact that the same polling organization showed the reverse result just 1 month ago and the mayor's historic support from the African-American community, he said. On a statewide level, Adams' favorability ratings are looking bleak. The poll found that just 28% of New Yorkers statewide favored his job performance, while 38% disapprove. Yeah, so again, this is hilarious. When the poll comes out and the numbers are good for Eric Adams, totally credible, totally legitimate, right? We should use this as an example that blacks love Eric Adams, right? Black folks love Eric Adams. He's doing such a great job, okay? Putting illegal immigrants in their neighborhoods, right? But when the polls are negative, okay, when they don't support the narrative that the Eric Adams administration wants to push on New Yorkers, it's not legitimate, right? These numbers are false, right? They're made up, okay? It's just amazing how that works. Regardless, this administration is a joke, okay? It's just Bill de Blasio 2.0 on steroids. Eric Adams is a clown, okay? I mean, look at what he's done. Look at everything that's happened under his administration, right? He's been a disappointment on crime, okay? Citizens are being terrorized in the subway stations to the point where they have to basically start killing criminals down there, right? Just to feel safe. You have the illegal immigrant crisis, okay? He's basically housing illegals, using taxpayer money, spending on them because, hey, New York City is a sanctuary city, okay? He tried to get these people the right to vote in local elections, okay? That's what he tried to do. He was pushing for that. The vaccine mandates, okay? He ran businesses out of the city. Look at the mass exodus that is happening from New York. They're losing all their tax revenue, okay? Losing all their tax revenue. And then you have the race hustling on top of that, the divisiveness on top of that. This guy's just an all-around disaster. He really is. But hey, par for the course when it comes to Democrats. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.